let's get into the final topic of the night, and that is going to be Monster Hunter Wilds. Okay, so let me give you my first impressions of Monster Hunter Wilds. I only have 2 hours into the game, just for transparency's sake. I only have 2 hours into the game. But here's what I'm going to say. Is the game awesome? Hell yeah. The game has a fantastic opening sequence. The character creator is great, although you can't adjust boobs or butts for females or men or whatever the case may be. You can't adjust anything. The game is definitely a lot of fun. If you are a Monster Hunter fan, you're going to be right at home. There's no doubt about it. However, what everybody is saying about issues with the game is true. And I understand that there's people out there that haven't experienced issues yet. And I'm envious of you. Congratulations. That's fantastic. I'll put it to you, my own personal experience. I'm not going to talk about other people's experiences, not yet. I'm going to talk about my own personal experience, okay? So I have a pretty beefy PC, right? I have a 4090 NVIDIA. I have 64 gigs of RAM, right? Like I have an i9, all kinds of shit. So I played this game, and FPS-wise, it ran great. I didn't have any dips in performance. Even during the first boss battle that I experienced, I had no dips in performance. It was fine. It was smooth. But what I did notice was what this is basically saying. So we have this article here that says, my air fryer is more optimized than this. Monster Hunter Wilds players are suffering from performance issues. And we also have the fact that the game looks washed out, right? Let me showcase this one here. Monster Hunter Wilds looks very washed out, but changing these settings can help. So the game's performance is pretty terrible, and overall, it does look washed out. Now, my own personal experience is that I've seen, like, the background looks pretty washed out. The textures definitely are not even. You'll have some that load, you'll have some that don't load, and it creates this, like, weird PlayStation 3 effect. I really don't know how to explain it. Now, for full transparency, there is apparently a texture pack, an HD texture pack or something along those lines that the game has. I didn't know about it until I already booted up the game. So I'm going to install that patch. I'm going to install that texture pack in the next stream, and hopefully that fixes it. Hopefully. Okay, but as of right now, I played the game as it was without the texture pack, and it was not good. It was not good. Number two, optimization. So I'll put it to you like this. I have a 4090. I have 64 gigs of RAM. I have all the, like, everything you could possibly want for the most part, aside from a 5090 that I don't think anybody could get their hands on right now except for companies and, like, streamers. But I have all that stuff. And you know what happened? I booted up Monster Hunter. And after it compiled the shaders, because, you know, it renders the shaders before you play the game. After it compiled the shaders, you know what happened? The game fucking crashed. I'm not kidding. It literally happened right before I went live. I typed in the chat. I'm like, the game crashed. The fucking game crashed before I even managed to get into the game. The first time that I booted it up. And I'm like, that's not good. Like, there's something that is not a good precedent. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, this is a little bit worrisome. You know, but anyway, so after that, I loaded up the game again and it never crashed again. Just an FYI. Okay. I'm being very transparent with all this because I like Monster Hunter, but that doesn't mean we have to shill. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there are people out there that they love Monster Hunter and they're willing to ignore all the bad things simply because they like Monster Hunter. I'm not going to be that kind of person. I like Monster Hunter, but I'm also not going to lie about it. You know, so Monster Hunter has really, 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 really bad performance issues. Okay. But for me, the two things that I experienced was the crash and the textures being washed out. So for me, it does look like a kind of like a PS4 game. Not even. Kind of like maybe even a high PS3 game. I'm telling you, this Resident Evil engine is not made for open world video games. And I'm not the only one saying that. It's been proven that the Resident Evil engine that they're utilizing is more better tailored to single player video games, games that do not have open world settings like Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter plays just like Dragon's Dogma played when it first came out. Dragon's Dogma 2. That game also was extremely buggy. So it seems like they really didn't work on this engine very much in the time between Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds, which a little bit questionable. I know it's the Reach engine, but I call it Resident Evil engine because I don't give a fuck. It's Capcom. It's RE. I'm calling it the Resident Evil engine because they debuted it, if I'm not mistaken, with the Resident Evil remakes. So I don't give a fuck. But anyway, that's besides the point. So it's unfortunate, right? Because here's what I'm going to say about this, okay? And this is the thing that really kind of upsets me the most. Here's the thing that really, and I'm going to do tier 2 in a second, guys. Just give me a second. Here's the thing that upsets me the most, right? So this game right now, let's look at the numbers so that we can get a better understanding. This game is performing better than I ever thought it was going to. All right. If you guys remember my prediction for this game was about 1 million. I thought it was going to be about 1 million concurrent players. It actually is at 1.3 million concurrent players. Why is my chat not working? My chat definitely should be working. Hold on. There we go. That's weird. That's so weird. Wrong window, I guess. 1.3 million players. Absolutely fucking insane numbers. Okay. Now the game is getting crucified in reviews from people that are having performance issues. 47%. Now it's going up a little bit. It was at a 60-40 split when I first did my first video earlier. But this is really, really, really bad. Still, overall, most people are complaining about performance issues. You guys have got to also understand the game uses de novo, right? The game uses de novo. So that alone is going to affect the performance of this game in a negative way, which is unfortunate. No matter how much de novo wants to pretend like they don't affect video games, it's like, bro, trust me, it's been tested. People know that de novo hardcore affects video game performance. We already know that. If you're going to sit up here and lie about it, like, whatever. Anyway, I understand why they would. But if you're going to combine de novo with the RE engine, you are asking for it. You know what I'm saying? You are sincerely asking for it. Like, the game is going to run like shit. It really is. Especially for if it's not optimized properly, then the systems that don't have top tier graphics cards or anything like that, it's not going to end well for you. It's going to run like shit. So, again, we could go over the reviews, and we will in a second. But I want to show the numbers because I want to drive a point home. It is now 2025, right? It's 2025. Why is Capcom still releasing garbage PC ports? Why are the Japanese still releasing garbage PC ports? Why do they have this mentality of release it and fix it later? I don't like this because this game is proving that there is now, if there wasn't before, a massive PC player base for this game. There's a massive PC player base for this game, and you are insulting them. You are sincerely insulting them by releasing this broken shit. They never fixed Dragon's Dogma 2. I know. And I'm thinking that they might fix this because it's a more popular game. But it's like 1.3 million concurrent. This number is going to go higher. You realize that? It's not even the weekend yet. This number is going to reach probably 1.6, 1.7 million players by tomorrow. So how are you going to abandon? Well, not abandon, but how are you going to insult such a massive fan base? You're pulling. I know we're at tier 2. I'm waiting to finish the segment before I put the ears on. We are at the point now where Capcom, it's like, bro, this is a massive player base that you are insulting. That's just how I view it as. This is how I view it as. So now it's going to get to the point where, okay, again, it's 2025, man. Get with the fucking program. How are we still doing this shit? How are we still releasing trash like this? Exactly. Andrew Richardson calls it Crapcom. There's a reason why they're called Crapcom. It's not, did they assume everybody has a 4090? I don't know, Haggy. I have no idea. But the thing is, yeah, Street Fighter 6 gets laggy too. The thing is, it's like, again, I have a 4090 and the textures still look washed out, right? The gameplay still, dude, I had what's her name? I had Gemma's, like, I looked at Gemma. First off, I didn't even talk about Gemma. Oh my God. I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to talk to Gemma, only to realize she was bugged. I'm not even kidding. That also happened. The game crashed, the textures were wonky, and Gemma bugged out literally in the first interaction, and I couldn't talk to her, and I had to restart the fucking game. I had to restart the fucking game because I couldn't talk to her. I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? So when I saw all of this happen, again, I think this game is great. I know there's going to be a lot of fun to be had in this game. And again, this was gifted to me. Shout out to Kira. Thank you for gifting the game to us about a month or so back, if I'm not mistaken. But I got to tell you, man, if I wasn't a streamer, and you guys know this, I say this all the time, if I wasn't a streamer, with the way that this game is playing right now, this ain't a day one buy for me, bro. This is not a day one buy for me. I'm sorry. It's just not. And I'm hoping they fix it, but the past has told me that they're most likely not going to. Right? With Dragon's Dogma 2 and even Street Fighter, it's not a day one buy. This is going to be a wait for a summer sale, wait for a winter sale, get it for 60% off, 45% off, 50% off, kind of a thing. Because it's super, super unfinished feeling, not from a content perspective, but from just an overall performance perspective. And it sucks because we want to enjoy Monster Hunter. Like, people don't get this mad. Look at this. People don't get this mad unless they went into this wanting to enjoy your game and all they got was unfinished fucking bullshit. It is really poorly optimized. And it's provable because it's running decent on consoles. To my knowledge, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if you're playing on console. But to my knowledge, console's fine. It's PC that has the problem. But I think console only gets like 40 some odd FPS, 50 some odd FPS. It's not like it's amazing. So I really hope Capcom does not pull what they always pull and focus on, trying to figure out how to monetize the game versus actually fixing the game. Like, bro, you have a massive fan base right now. You have a player base that so many games would kill to have. I mean, look at this fucking number. Look at this number. 1.3 million concurrent players, and it's going to go way higher. Get your shit together, Capcom. That's all I could say. Get your shit together. There's no reason for this to be happening in 2025. And I get it. There's going to be hardcore shills out there. There's going to be shills out there for Capcom. I understand that. I get it. But even though I love Monster Hunter, I'm not going to shill for the company releasing bullshit like this. I'm just not. I refuse to do so. I'm going to tell you the exact truth and what I experienced playing the game for the first time. So it is what it is, man. But let me switch over really quick to this article because it's actually kind of hilarious. My air fryer is more optimized than this. Monster Hunter Wilds players are suffering from performance issues. Players report crashes, low frame rates, and polygonal character models. You know what's funny too about all this is that when I'm playing the game, I'm looking at the characters and I'm like, this is so prototypical Capcom. Like, they just have a way that they design their NPCs. They have a way they design their characters. And when you look at them, you're just like, that's a Capcom game, isn't it? Like, they have an aesthetic. which is not a bad thing. But they have an aesthetic. Sanguine, I know it's not actually open world, just feels like it, but still, the technology that's there to make it seamless, to make it feel like it's an open world, is not running very well in the RE engine. It's just not. So if they're going to do something like that, then they have to make sure that their engine can handle it. And unfortunately, it's not handling it right now. It's just a little bit rough. Not even a little bit rough. To be honest with you, I experienced 3 to 4 issues my first 2 hours. That's not a little bit rough. One of the issues required me to restart the game. That's not a little bit rough. I literally could not progress. I could not talk to Gemma unless I restarted my game. That's pretty fucking crazy. So it's not, I wouldn't even call it a little bit of an issue. I would call it a pretty damn decent size issue, especially when they start adding it all up together, you know? But that's besides the point. And you know what's funny too, man? The console people, they're having a field day with this, bro. They're having a field day with this. They're like, console for the win. Suck it, PC Master Race. I'm looking at some of these comments and I'm like, bro, this is hilarious. This is so funny. But listen, man, let people talk their shit. It is what it is, man. Players report crashes, low frame rates, and polygonal character. So I experienced this. This is what I've been talking about with Gemma. So there was a moment where I loaded up the game and I went to Gemma and I went around the corner to go talk to her. And once her model loaded up, it looked like this. Her hair looked like this, like polygonal. It looked like this for about a second and a half, 2 seconds. And then just magically like fixed itself. So I experienced this also. And I have a 4090 graphics card. Keep that in mind. I experienced these polygonal like models, and I have a 4090 graphics card. So how the fuck am I experiencing this with a 4090 and 64 gigs of RAM? Bro, what is happening? What is happening? It's bad for some players. The graphics have reverted to 1996. Reddit users posted screenshots of blurry polygonal characters who look like they came from a Nintendo 64 game. Many of the graphical issues that were present during the beta playtest are still present in the final game. So this I want to talk about, dude. I want to talk about. So supposedly, and again, I didn't play the beta because I told you guys I don't like playing betas because I want to go into the game fresh, and I don't want to have played the beta and lose out on time and have to redo stuff and whatnot. But here's what I will say. I am so sick of these companies having beta tests only for the fucking issues that were in the beta to be in the release. I'm so sick of it. I really am. This happens way too much. And it's not even just Capcom or anything. I'm not just going after Capcom with that, but it's so ridiculous, bro. Why have a beta test where people are reporting bugs and telling you, hey, this is a problem. You need to probably fix this. And those issues are still in the game at release. Why is that even a thing? It's so ridiculous, man. I understand they have a history. I get it. I've experienced it. I understand. But at this point, it's like, when do we stop making excuses? And when do we hold Capcom accountable? Or when do we hold these companies accountable? Now, unfortunately, here's the truth. I'm going to tell you flat out what the fucking truth is. Capcom is listening to all those complaints right now about the game being buggy, about the game being fucked up, about the game having performance issues and not being optimized. And you know what they're doing with it? You know what they're doing with it? They're wiping their fucking ass with it. Every single complaint, they're wiping their ass with one out of these 1.3 million players. Because this game sold well over 2 million copies in the first less than 24 hours. They don't give a fuck. They just flat out don't give a fuck. They're like, we don't care. People are eating it. People are buying it. They don't care. Now, they'll probably care if at this point they start to lose players fast, right? So if this number doesn't stay consistent for the first week at least, it's going to be a problem. But this game has sold, this game is probably well over 3 million by now. At least on Steam anyway. And then you got consoles too on top of that, bro. This game is over 5 million copies probably between all platforms. So this game is selling like fucking hotcakes. So I guarantee you those people are like, yep, don't care. Capcom's like, yep, don't give a fuck. Do not care. They will care if people refund it. Yeah, but not enough people are going to refund it. That's the problem. Not enough people are going to refund it. As sad as that is, that's just the truth of it. So I don't know. We'll see. But at this point, my thing about this game is that it's a fun game. It's very Monster Hunter, obviously. If you want Monster Hunter, you're going to get it. And the only thing is, I would hope that you have no issues playing it. That's basically it at this point. If you are one of the lucky few to not experience any issues, then that's great. You're going to have a banger of a time. But I have a 4090, 64 gigs of RAM, an i9 processor, and all the works. And even I experienced 3 to 4 bugs within 2 hours of playing the game. So I think it's pretty safe to say what people are saying about the game is pretty true. Sad, but true. You know what I mean? So hopefully that allows you to make an informed decision. You choose what you want to do with your money at this point. And again, shout out to Kira for donating the game. DJ says, seriously, is the game worth it? I do think the game is worth it, but the game's not worth it at full price. Not like this. That's just me being honest. It's not worth it at full price with the game being the way that it's being right now. It's just not. But that's how I feel about a lot of Capcom games. I don't really buy Capcom games day one. The Resident Evil remakes I bought when they were on sale for super cheap. You know? Let's see. I think that's basically it.